Fedora 44 just made Linux gaming even better. No tweaks needed. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're a Linux gamer, you know how far we have come. A few years ago, getting a Windows title to run on Linux often meant dealing with crashes, stuttering, or hours of tinkering. Thanks to Proton, Wine, and the amazing work from Valve and the open source community, Linux gaming in 2026 is legitimately excellent. But there is always room for improvement, especially under the hood. And that's exactly what Fedora 44 is bringing to table. In just a couple of weeks, this update will quietly supercharge your Windows games on Linux automatically. No commands, no config files, no extra steps. Today, I'm breaking down exactly how it works, why it matters, and what you can expect. First, let's talk about a problem most players never even notice. But it's been holding Linux gaming back. Games are incredibly complex. They juggle dozens of threads at once, one handling graphics, another physics, audio, AI, networking, you name it. These threads constantly need to talk to each other at exactly the right moment. On Windows, this synchronization happens deep inside the NT kernel, which is Microsoft's own system, and it's lightning fast and rock solid. When we run those same Windows games on Linux through Proton or Wine, we had to emulate that Windows style syncing. For years, clever tools like esync and Fsync helped a lot, but they still worked in user space, meaning extra translation layers, extra CPU work, and occasional bottlenecks. The result? Some games ran fine, but others stuttered, had weird frame time issues, or simply wouldn't launch properly. Enter NTSync, the game changer that's been quietly brewing in the Linux kernel. NTSync is a brand new kernel module that landed in Linux 6.14 back in early 2025. Instead of trying to translate Windows sync calls on the fly, it speaks the exact same language as Windows NT synchronization primitives right inside the kernel. That means zero extra overhead, more accurate timing, and far less strain on your CPU. The difference is huge for certain titles. In real world tests with Wine, some heavily multi threaded games have seen massive gains. We are talking big jumps in average FPS and much smoother 1% and 0.1% lows. Even better, it fixes compatibility for games that previously stuttered or flats out refused to run. And because it's now in the main kernel, it's stable, secure, and available to every modern Linux distribution. What makes Fedora 44 special is how elegantly they have implemented it. Most distros ship the NTSync module these days, but you usually had to load it manually or use a custom Proton build. Fedora decided to make the experience seamless. Starting with Fedora 44, full release expected on April 14th, 2026. The moment you install Wine or Steam from the official repos, a tiny helper package called NTSync Autoload is automatically pulled in. It quietly drops a config file that loads the NTSync kernel module at boot, but only if you actually need it. No unnecessary overhead for desktop users who don't game or run Windows apps. It's smart, clean, and exactly the kind of thoughtful engineering that makes Fedora feel like the bleeding edge, yet stable distro. It's always promised to be. So, what does this mean for you in practice? If you're already using Proton or Wine on Fedora, you'll likely notice snappier performance and fewer stutters right out of the box. Games that were borderline playable might suddenly feel smooth, and because everything happens automatically, you don't have to remember any environment variables or rebuild Proton GE, it just works. Fedora isn't the only one doing cool things here. SteamOS already loads NTSync by default, and Proton GE users have had access for a while. But Fedora 44 is the first major general purpose distribution to make it completely automatic for everyday users. That's a big win for anyone who wants great gaming without becoming a Linux expert. Now, a quick reality check. Not every game will see night and day improvements. If you're already running modern Proton with Fsync H enabled, the gains are usually in the 5 to 15% range for most titles, plus better frame pacing. But for the games that were really struggling with sync overhead, the difference can feel transformative. The best part, this is just one piece of Fedora 44's gaming focused upgrades. Paired with the latest kernel, GNOME 50 improvements, and better VLAN support, it's shaping up to be one of the strongest releases yet for Linux gamers. If you are excited to try it, the Fedora 44 beta is already out and running beautifully. You can grab it today, test your favorite games, and be ready for the stable release in mid April. So, what do you think? Is 2026 finally the year more people switch to Linux for gaming? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know what games you are hoping to run better on Fedora 44. Subscribe for more Linux gaming and tech explainers. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, stay awesome, and happy gaming.